Welcome, friend, to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to up-leveling my life and yours. My goal is to give you a mind shift that gets you one step closer to your goal. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Before I get into this week's topic, I want to give you an update. And as I've been sharing recently, we are buying a house and selling a house, and we are doing all of the things real estate in the Cagle house. We accepted an offer on our home within 12 hours of listing it. It didn't even have a chance to hit Zillow and Realtor.com and all the third-party listing companies. So we are in escrow. This is the part where we are setting up appraisals and inspections, all the things. This is the kind of thing that can have you in a state of, overwhelm. In fact, in most cases, for many people, it doesn't even have to be this big of a transaction or an event. For many of us, we live in a perpetual state of feeling overwhelmed. This is episode number 74, and Overwhelm. Sometimes, just the thought of getting groceries and cooking dinner and picking up the kids from daycare can have us in a state of overwhelm. So today, I want to give you a mind shift about overwhelm so that when you feel yourself in it and you find yourself telling yourself the story of how overwhelmed you are, you can reach into your arsenal of the 10-minute mind shift and you can pull out this tool. And as I love to say, get over it. All right, my friends. Buckle up. Let me start by stating what overwhelm is. It is a state of intense emotion that is difficult to manage. It can affect your ability to think and act rationally. It can also keep you from performing normal daily tasks. The state or emotion of overwhelm, it is an emotion that is designed to keep us going back into the cave where it's safer and we don't have to work so hard and we don't have to feel so much. Just know that. Just know that that is all that it is. Overwhelm is a useless emotion. It limits your opportunity to experience life at its best and fullest potential. After this episode, I hope that you will just say no to overwhelm. I hope that you will just refuse it. I know, you have so much going on, it all hits you at once, and you have limited resources and all the things, but here is what is important for you to understand. We think that we are in this state, the state of overwhelm, because of the circumstances in our lives. We are not. Our circumstances have nothing to do with our experience in our life in a state of overwhelm. Remember, it is our thoughts that are generating the emotion. So it's our thoughts about the circumstance that is what is creating the sensation and the state of being in a state of overwhelm. Now, here's another truth bomb for you. We aren't always overwhelmed in a bad way. Sometimes all the good stuff pouring down on us all at once has us in a state of intense emotion. Overwhelm can also present itself as manic or euphoria. So, overwhelm is not necessarily coming from a bad thing or a bad state of being. All right, so what is creating the negative feeling of the intense emotions? Well, to be very frank, what you are making it all mean is what is making the experience negative or positive. You could be feeling extreme and intense emotions because you're overtired, undernourished, undermanaging your thoughts, any and all of it. Now, let's be very clear. I'm not talking about the emotional trauma after a traumatic event. I'm talking about the everyday life, day in and day out of experiencing our life. Buying a house, selling a house, managing movers, changing jobs, getting married, building a house, back to school. You know what I mean? I am not talking about the chronic. I'm talking about the habit to go into overwhelm when we are experiencing life events. Okay, so I can give you a few examples of recent days. When we submitted our information to get our house listed, I noticed how completing the listing felt like a lot. And it didn't take long before we started getting multiple showing requests, and it felt like we were being inundated. My brain started throwing me thoughts for my consideration, and that had I accepted them, I would have been experiencing the listing in a state of overwhelm. I could feel some panic and overreacting coming in. I noticed that my actions became a little frantic. I also felt the sensation of being overwhelmed in a good way with all of the immediate interest in the house, and that had me making decisions and taking action without really thinking them through. I was so excited, so I was like, yes, come see the house without looking at my schedule or talking to Steve and checking on his schedule. That's what happens. Overwhelm in a good way can have you responding too quickly and saying yes when we should say no. I want you to really think about that. All right, so Steve kind of got a little panicky too, and about not having some things done that we wanted to have done before we presented the house to the world. And so we had to stop, take a breath, and just step back, slow down, get centered, and recognize all of the amazing things going on all around us, and then step into a space of gratitude. Here is the deal. You cannot be overwhelmed negatively and feel gratitude at the same time. It's not possible. I know that most of us struggle with the negative feeling of overwhelm, but let me tell you, an intense level of joy may feel overwhelming too. Overwhelm does not have to be bad or negative. Here are some examples of recent overwhelm in a good way. Recently, I have been struggling with Dutch since he came back from the trainers, and so I've been working with my vet, my chiropractor, my trainer, doing my own researcher, even called in the saddle fitter. We have been adding things to his maintenance that have helped support him physically, and then yesterday, I felt like I got my horse back. After about 6 weeks of really going through it, I felt like now he is back. I was overwhelmed in a good way. I experienced intense and emotional joy and relief and euphoria. I was overwhelmed with joy in a good way. And that had me setting off, looking at my calendar, seeing where I could schedule in a show. This week, as we were going through the process of going into escrow on 2 homes, and I was blown away by the technology and the efficiencies in buying and selling a home these days. Steve and I both said a few times that this is so overwhelming, but in a good way. By recognizing the goodness in the extreme emotion, we were able to enjoy the process instead of dreading the process. We were able to experience some very complicated and technical conversations in a positive way because we were both recognizing all of the amazing things going on all around us. We were allowing all of the good emotions to bubble up and hang out for a while. We weren't shushing the joy and the excitement. A lot of times we don't want to feel extremely positive emotions at high intensity because we are afraid. We are afraid we will lose it somehow or that the other shoe will drop. We are almost as afraid of these intense positive emotions as we are the intense negative emotions. So we hold ourselves back and we don't get too excited and don't get too confident or comfortable. We don't get too certain. When left unchecked, we can retreat into self-sabotage. And it's as if we are only allowed so much of a good thing. We almost said no to the first 2 showings thinking we wanted to get all of the things done, but we would have missed out on selling the home so quickly. Overwhelm is a thief. Many times when we are experiencing negative overwhelm during a time of a lot of things happening for you, it's because you feel like you don't deserve it. It's too good to be true. You'll be found out. And then what's going to happen? How will you deal with the disappointment, right? Am I right? Listen, don't be afraid of any emotion. Be willing to feel them all. You can handle them, and here's the truth. You are stronger than you will ever need to be. I promise you. Okay, so I have given you a few things to ponder about overwhelm, and now let me give you some actual steps to take. Number 1. Recognize the state that you are in and ask yourself, is this how I want to experience this event? Number 2, next, what is the thought that is making you feel this state of overwhelm? Do a thought download on paper and really get to the bottom of what you're thinking. I promise you, there is a ninja thought or two wreaking havoc on your experience. Find it. Don't judge it. Just find it. Number 3, challenge that thought. Don't buy into it just because it's there, present, and available. Is it true? Is it possible that something else could be true? Number 4, get into a space of gratitude. Quick. You can't hold a space of gratitude and overwhelm at the same time. Look at what's going on for you. Get curious about the experience and the event and find something to be thankful for. Number 5, decide how you want to experience this event. Even if this is something that's not fun in life, like death or illness, you still get to decide how you show up. You can show up in a space of compassion, love, support, and kindness. Overwhelm never serves you regardless of the circumstance, ever. Remember, overwhelm is designed to keep you in the cave. Decide how you want to experience every event in your life. Number 6, decide the thoughts that you can think on purpose. Be ready for the ninja thoughts and prepare ahead of time with the thoughts that empower you. Arm yourself with the tools to experience life on your terms. All right, look, I know that this all sounds really simple, and it is, but it's not easy to do this on your own, and that is why I am here. I can help you with a 30-minute mind shift, a 60-minute mind shift. It could be just that thing that you need to get you to start living your life by design. Just shoot me an email and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life. That is what I have for you this week, and now go have the best week ever. That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you love this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week boot camp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results. If a one-on-one coaching program is more your jam, I am all in. Just shoot me an email and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.